how did you get involved in the Eating Disorders Awareness Single, and why do you feel it's an important cause?
Well, the getting involved was because of my own personal history, in that I lost my daughter 3 years ago. It's coming up for her third anniversary through eating disorders, and I want to see the awareness being raised as much as possible. So I do that through Parliament and other areas of raising awareness through college and schools, universities. But I want to see more survivors than deaths, because that's really important. We need to have more survivors. People with eating disorder, we need to try and work towards overcoming that and for people to survive, because we need to have less people dying with disorder, with eating disorder.
What plans do you have for Eating Disorders Awareness Week this year?
Well, this year, doing something really special actually. It's the 24th to the 28th of February this year, and we're running an event at Parliament. We're starting off with an event for the clinicians, the professionals, the medics, the psychologists, psychiatrists, everyone involved within the eating disorders, to see where we're at and what good practice is out there and what can be shared. And to look forward, the way ahead, that's really important. And then the following day, we've got a couple of events within the Parliament, and I'm having a members' debate at the Parliament, and then we're going on to Edinburgh Castle, and the government are hosting an event at the castle to bring people together. Again, the people from the medical profession, but people, the parents and carers, but most importantly those people with eating disorders, to give them an opportunity so their voice can be heard. It's a bit of networking, but we really want as many people as possible who have an eating disorder to come along and just talk and be heard. And the following day we've got the children and adolescents in terms of mental health camps from Grampian, Lothian and Glasgow. Those areas coming together at Parliament, and we've got a viewing on the Thursday evening of a film made by people with eating disorders, and the launch of the single. Well, not quite the launch of the single, but it'll be the first time that going to a wider audience will be played in Parliament, and it's obviously the single that you're putting together for this event. And on the Friday, which is probably the jewel in the crown for me, is that we're holding a conference in Parliament, and it is bringing together again the same people in some respects, but we're looking at different aspects. We're looking at the impact on carers and families. We're looking at the impact maybe fashion and design have on eating disorders. We're looking at the media. We're also looking at social media. So there's a lot happening, and it'll be really important. And again, in each workshop that we have, it will be people who have an eating disorder, who are surviving that eating disorder, and we really need to hear from them and how we take things forward and how we raise that awareness and what supports that people need. It's okay to be surviving an eating disorder, but if you're discharged, you need to know that there's actually help out there, and we need to be smarter in realising that the help is there and it needs to be coordinated, and we need to get that message across. No one should be left without the support and help that they need in beating this illness.
What do you think of the sound of the single and the idea and the prospect that many people across Scotland have came together for this one cause?
I think it's fantastic. The theme, the thread going through that, the words are very poignant. Surviving this illness is what it's about. It's about people knowing that there is a positive message. It's about knowing yourself, knowing that people care, and it's about, for me, there's a sort of love theme going through it, and that's fantastic. And I think having that positive message is what we need to hear, and that single will resonate, I think, with people with eating disorders, and I hope that it will actually give people that hope the actual hope that something's there, something good's there, and something good will come from it. And including people from all over Scotland is just what it's about, because it is inclusive. No one should be left out, and that's the message that the single gives for me, that people aren't being left out, they're not being isolated. It's coming together, and there's an understanding there that I think the single itself brings out, and I'm really looking forward to having that played in the Parliament with our sound systems, and we might just up the volume a bit.
So after Eating Disorders Week itself and after the hype of the charity single, where do you imagine that things will go next? What are the next steps?
The next steps are to ensure that we don't just raise awareness of eating disorders for 1 week in the year. Eating disorders are with us every single day, every single week, every single month. And we need to ensure that that message resonates throughout the whole of the population and all our communities. But what's really important for me is we're being positive and we're looking for a way forward. And that way forward will be to get this message across in our schools, in our colleges, in our universities, in our GP practices, and it should be a greater understanding. But what gives me the greatest confidence just now is that the government are listening, and they're looking at engaging, and they're supporting the initiatives. So anything that can happen to take it forward and raise the awareness, and hopefully, as I said before, increase the survival rate, that's the message we need to get out. So it's a positive, it's a way forward, and I'll be looking to work with the government in getting that message out.
Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do to help eating disorders and everything else that you do in the pub?
Well, I suppose because of my personal interest, it's something that is very much with me all the time. So when I'm engaging with our ministers or other parliamentarians, I'll take the opportunity of raising the subject when and if appropriate, of course. But really behind the scenes, I'm just keeping it going. I get contacted a lot from individuals who have an eating disorder, and they're looking for support, and they're looking for direction. So I'm looking at trying to coordinate a lot of this at the end of the day and involve the various communities to try and ensure that there's no, it's a dreadful term, but the postcode lottery doesn't exist. So it really shouldn't matter where you live in Scotland. If you need that support, the support's going to be there, and that's what I'm working behind the scenes at trying to develop. And can I say that really it's cross-party. The support I have from other members of the Parliament is fantastic. I have the support of the other MSPs, and I've also got the support of government. So I'm really, really encouraged by that, and I think the news for the future with people with eating disorders can only get better.